live on YouTube. It's just doing a whirly durly thingy. And here I am. So I'm going to come on here quickly before I take off and go to work. So sending you guys out so many blessings. I mean, there's, again, we're looking into coming into a new year. And I'll be coming out with my predictions. Probably not next year, but I will be coming out with some predictions. There is there's a lot that's going to be happening next year. Of course, it's going to be a lot. I mean, the nodes are changing. Just even with Pluto being in Aquarius and some of the things, I think we've seen some of the craziness that's already happened. I mean, we got to go all the way back to when Steve Jobs brought out the iPhone, 2008. Could you imagine not being with the iPhone? Without your phone, well, your smartphone, right? Like today, I mean, that really wasn't long ago, right? So think of all the advances that have happened in the last few years. Now we're into um sort of Aquarius is really sci-fi kind of thing. So things like vehicles without drivers, and I know so many of you are saying, I would never have a vehicle that would drive itself. But the advancements that are going to be coming out are going to be crazy. They were, for kids, they were having um, VR helmet, like the VR goggles for kids, and the kids under 7, which kind of freaks the fuck out of me. But that's one of the things that freaks, because I'm thinking about the brain and the neurons and everything that go on with it. But these are some of the advancements that are coming in, where they put on the goggles and then they have a booklet and then they can interact with the booklet. Crazy. So as they interact with this booklet, it's like the booklet comes alive and it's right there in their face. So it's, with a young child at the age of under the age of say 9 or even 10, I mean, it's yeah, it's just there's part of the brain that isn't fully developed and we don't know fully about it. So there's going to be things or advance or technology that's going to come through, that's going to do programming that is going to be changing how the brain functions. So brain functioning, how we um, are able to think and things. I mean, we're already seeing craziness where I could be talking about something. Let's say Hermes. I want to have a Berkey um, purse, and then all of a sudden, maybe on my feed will be everything to do with where I could buy it. Not that I could afford an $8,000 purse or a $30,000 purse, but this is the technology that is coming, or even perceiving. And I think this kind of freaked out one evening. I was over on the farm and we were talking and mentioning how the advancements are going to be able to perceive what you are going to do even before you do it. Now, this is the kind of technology that's coming in, and it's going to be coming in very fast and furious. We're going to be start seeing it really in 2025, and then that is going to it's just going to continue on. So we're entering into a time of huge transformation and change. We're entering into a time where we are my nose uh we are going to be seeing changes, with how governments function and how the strands of government are wanting to keep control over everything, and the unpredictability, the pressures, the random things, especially today. We're coming very close to that opposition to Mars and Pluto. Pluto's at 0 degrees and Mars is at 3 degrees. So as it's retrograding back, it's coming to that opposition. The sun is moving forward, and the moon has gone into Sagittarius. So we're and Chiron is moving on. So Chiron's coming off of that 19-degree point. So we're coming into some really crazy unpredictability. Plus, we have that square with Venus and Uranus, which really amplifies values, which really amplifies how we do things, how we connect with people. And this is where, we are going to be coming into having to really look at what we need to work on. And we have where we have to do things, but we may want to avoid it, not do it, put it to the side because there's a lot of stuff that we have to start creating. Even if people are starting, I hate to bring up the word taxes, but maybe some people have to do their year end. What do I have to tie up? What should I start getting together? What should I start organizing? And it's like, no, it's the holiday season. I don't want to think of that. Well, yes, it is the holiday season, but we still have things that we need to do. We still have things that, if we're trying to hide something or if we're not wanting to work on something that really needs to get done. And that could be right down. It's like, oh, well, I guess I should clean out that side cupboard that's been bothering me or whatever. I'm just throwing out things, man. I just so just saying. But there's going to be more problems. Staying focused, not getting lost in the weeds is going to be a huge one, and that's gonna be one of the huge focus as we are going into 2025. It is really having us have a clear focus on what is it that you wanna build? Where is it that you wanna, create the prosperity, the abundance, the joy, the love, the laughter in your life? How does that feel for you? What does that look like for you? And this is, because there's going to be crazy unpredictability, crazy events that are going to transform and change trajectory of where you think you're going. But it's when you having that clear focus and that grounding is really going to be a huge focal point for 2025. Um, some of the things, especially with the nodes changing, and the nodes are changing into mutable signs. They're going into Pisces and Sagittarius. So the South node is going into Sag. Sag is all about, um, travel and things to do with travel, right? So, and then we also have it going into Pisces, and Pisces is all about connection with spirit, connection and finding that elusiveness. It's not there's not a grounding in Pisces, right? It's very etheric. It's spacious. It's mutability. It's kind of all over the place, and it's ruled by Uranus. So there is I mean, it's ruled by Neptune, so it's really wanting to find a connection. So, and the last time it was there, this is what I love. It's like you could go back. Okay, what happened 19 years ago? What happened here? What happened here? And we can see through looking back on some of the events that are going to be, not maybe exactly, but some of the events that did happen during that time. I mean, there was last time it was Tiananmen Square in China. And so we're going to see not necessarily happening things in China, but I know China's going to have um some crazy events that are going to be coming up, especially with that between now and 2026 with Neptune and Saturn, because there's some changing or some things that are going to be happening um within China. But where people are going to revolt, people are going to stand up. There's going to be, really people saying, I'm not doing this anymore. Uh, there was also the Pan Am over Scotland that happened, when the nodes were in Pisces and Sag, right? Because Sag has to do with flight, has to do with travel, right? And coming into where with them coming in, the nodes coming in there was that Pan Am terrorist attack. So these are some of the things that part of my, with doing predictions and looking at what the planets do and what the nodes do and how it affects us, these events that are going to be unfolding for us and how it affects how we travel. What Pan Am was one of the ones that really was the starting of how travel was really starting to change, how security started to get tighter, and how you had to end up going through security before you could go on a plane. I mean, I remember just walking on the tarmac and there was no security. They just opened the door and we walked onto the plane, you know, and there was no baggage check and looking into your baggage to see what was in it and all this kind of stuff. These, the things that are going to be changing and how we connect, how we fly. And that's the other part too. I know a lot of people, they plan their trips. There's a lot of people who want to go to, Mexico. They want to go, to Europe and all that. We're going to find huge changes when it comes to um our air industry, on how we get to places, right? So there's going to be quite a changes that are going to be coming up with that. And so we're starting to see where these little, each day as the planets are connecting and as the planets are doing, their activation is getting us to awaken, getting us to like, okay, do you see this? Are you doing your work? Are you connecting with your values? Are you connecting with your truth? Are you doing that of what you need to be doing in this world? Or are you avoiding? Are you hiding? Are you hiding? The other part too that especially when it comes to Venus, is connection with people. And this is where, and is going to be interesting, because this is what's going to test a lot of people, because it's where it's not to just it's where people are going to have to, if you're meeting somebody, it's where the test is going to come in. And this sounds, I mean, to us, on a regular, it's where we start to think, well, that's not nice if we're going to test a new friend. And it's more of finding people who are on your frequency, who are connected with you within your values. And it's going to be important as we move into this new year and into 2025 and into the next several years, where when we are connecting with community, when we're connecting with others, is really kind of putting it to the test. Is this where I need to be? Not just doing things blindly, not just doing this by blind faith. This is where it's like, okay, I might have been led there, but why am I being led? Who are these people? Right? What what are their belief systems? Is that aligned with my belief systems, my values? Right? So this is where you're going to find more, where it's going to open up for more connection. Not and the thing is that it opens up for more connection because it's opening your mind to take a look around and not to be so narrow-minded. So it's looking at where it's like, where do I have more connection with people than I have, no connection with people? And I'm gonna question that. Question, why do you say that? What's going on? And this is where the inquisitive mind comes in. This is where, that Uranian energy comes in, and where Jupiter, because Jupiter is retrograde right now in Gemini, wants to know, wants to understand, wants to bring in more of the facts, more of the understanding. But sometimes we find it very difficult to process that all, right? So here we're coming into a time of looking at what we need to stay focused on. How do we stay out of the weeds? And where, if there is an issue, or where there is something, or there is, a connection that isn't good, where we're not going to be running away, we're going to come to it and ask the questions that need to be asked. We're going to come in and start to be more inquisitive and find out, okay, this isn't such a bad thing. um I was just listening to Neil McCoy, and he was talking about Argentina, and it's funny because of the president of Argentina and how the news portrays him. And then when you actually start digging in and you start looking at the things that he's actually done for the country, um, actually kind are good things, right? It's where you have an image or an idea what you think it's like, and then you really start to look into it. For instance, Russia. Where people have, oh, it's horrible there, and we all have, a lot of people have it, where it's behind the Iron Curtain, and they're not modernized and stuff. When I started watching different YouTubers from Russia and following different people who travel from Russia and stuff like that, and they're showing, it's like, no, they're very modernized. Um, they're very innovative people. There's a lot happening there, but we are told so many other things, right? So this is where the inquisitiveness, this is where it's being open, this is where we're to ask the questions. And this is for the last few years. We've been told not to ask questions, not, to hide away, to be scared. And this is where it's like, it's not for us to be scared. This is for us to stand in truth, stand in our direction, and look at what really is happening. And the more we start to do that, the more the positive change comes in, right? And the positiveness comes in. But this is on each and every one of us to start to do that and start to look at it. And may be that it's like, well, I thought I belonged to this community, but it just doesn't feel right. It's not in my alignment. This is not what I want to be doing, or this is not in my way of thinking anymore. I don't want to be in whatever it is anymore. It's just not my thing. So, and the thing is that if you're not wanting to do it, you're not wanting to create the changes, you're not wanting to go through the work, the hard work. This isn't easy work. This is, if you want to build something, it's going to be, you can't just sit around and got an easy bake oven. Can't just sit around and just do your easy bake oven. This is where it's like, okay, what do I need to do to create this? Right? It's like when you see somebody who lives off grid and you're like, oh, that looks so like paradise. It looks so wonderful. But when you start looking into what they've done, oh, they've been doing it for the last 5 years. Oh, okay. So what have they been doing? Oh, they've been clearing the land. They've been making the soil more nutrient rich. Oh, they had to live in this trailer and they only had a hole in the ground, basically an outhouse to go to the bathroom in. They really didn't have any running water yet. So it's like, this is where it's like, okay, if I'm wanting to do that, am I willing to do that hard work to create that? Right? Or do I rather stay in my little hideaway and think that's going to be okay? Wow. You know? So there's going to be where you may be taunted by wanting to play it safe and not question and not do anything and hide away. And this is where you're going to find a lot of people hiding away with drugs and alcohol, getting lost in nothingness and things that aren't lifting the spirit and lifting the soul. Just pulling a card here. So yeah, the intuition comes in. In comes the beautiful Queen of Waters. So where is that being led? I mean, she does need help. She does need people around her. She needs her community. But she's going to also follow her intuition. She's going to follow her insight. And sometimes she can get lost. I mean, there is a lostness in that, right? The queen can get very lost. But this is where it's coming into your psychic ability, your development. This is about creativity. The thing is that you're going to find, you can't get butt hurt. The queen can get butthurt very easily because she's sensitive. So looking at that sensitivity that's in your life, where are you sensitive? Where is something that you feel is like, oh, that's just too much. I can't do that, or you're just too sensitive to hear the truth about things. So here it comes in. It's like putting time aside that is for you in order for you to develop that work that you need to look at within your own self. And in doing that, you're going to get the information to move forward. The queen of waters, I mean, yeah, she's rushing water. This is like, yeah, but sometimes with the rushing water is like, I just want to get through this. I don't want to deal with this. I mean, if anybody who knows a cancer, it's like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with those emotions. I don't want to deal with all of that. That's just too heavy for me. Let's wash through, and they will do avoidance and go to something else, or not deal with what truly needs to be dealt with inside herself. I get that. I'm a moon rising Cancer, and my North Node is Cancer. So what are the things that I want to rush through that that are going that aren't really that great for me? What are the things that I need to take and what I need to feel to make myself feel at home, so I can create that and allow myself to go towards that, right? Without doing the avoidance or the spiritual bypassing. That's a huge one. And through it all, yeah, don't try and run away. Don't try and move in a new direction that is not going to open up the doors that you think are going to open. This is yeah, hard work coming in. Hard work today, hard work over the weekend, and as we're heading into a new moon. This new moon is kind of weird. It's a really weird new moon. It's not giving any aspects to anything. Really. It's tomorrow we're going well within the next 12 hours we're going to head into the balsamic phase and the dark of the dark moon, but the moon is not it's there, but it is a moon that's really not giving that oomph. It's kind of yeah, it's a weird moon. It's a weird new moon that's coming forth. And for those who are getting their new moon readings, they'll be coming out on Monday, probably Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, Monday. They'll be coming out, and anybody who wants to get a moon reading, they're $50. Just let me know, and I'll be sending out a written form and a video for you. So have a blessed one. Got to get ready, go to work. May the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you and all you say and all you be and all you do. Have a blessed day, and love you lots. Bye bye, everyone.